Welcome back to Grow Your Impact, Income, and Influence from the Stage. If you are somebody who is interested in how to do live events that transform your people, this event, the guests that I have today, we're going to talk through how they help people undo psychic manipulation, how they help people get issues that are stuck in their tissues out during their events. So this is a different style event. You're going to want to pay attention. They actually do live demos. They help heal people live. My guests today, Greg and Antonia, have been friends for a long time. How are you guys doing this afternoon?
We're doing
Yay! Great
So
to see you.
Yeah.
Awesome. So we are going to jump right in. If you were listening to this intro and you're like, tell me a little bit more about that, or what does this mean? Can you guys explain a little bit about what you do?
Yeah. So for 30 years, we've been working with people, and now we really work with entrepreneurs who know that the way they feel when they go to do what they do, like emotionally, that makes a difference. If they don't feel so great or they're feeling like they're dragging, the results that they get are not going to be as good as they'd like. So what we do is we really help people look at the result that they want to get and figure out maybe why they're not getting it. And that result that they want to get is based on what they feel they can do, which many times is limited by the mindset that they have, or actually what issues might be in their tissues of their body that are keeping them from being in the flow. So
Right.
we love to work with entrepreneurs who have a soulful side to them, who have a spiritual bent to their business, who really want to be aligned with the actions that they take and how they feel and what they want in their lives, so that they can get the results that really move them forward to make the impact that they want in their life.
Mm-hmm. We love to work with healers who have a prosperous business, and we use the innate healing system within each of our bodies to heal those issues out of the tissues.
Okay, so talk to me, give me like an example of this. If you're listening to this and this sounds, you're like, well, of course I get stuck sometimes. I want to procrastinate, or I sit down and I know I need to do XYZ today. I've got my to-do list, but I can't do that. A lot of times we think it's shiny object syndrome, or we think, we're getting grabbed by the 15 other things that are on our to-do list, the dog, the kid, the husband, the wife, whatever. But really, you guys get to the core of it by there's things in our past that have attached energy to us that stop us from moving forward. Can you, Greg or Antonia, you guys tend to talk really well together. So can you give me a specific example of what this would look like? And then we're going to jump into the event.
Yeah, so let's really talk about that to-do list. So there's many things on the to-do list that we can do without a problem. And what happens is when we get to the piece on the to-do list, that's the really big piece. That's
out of my comfort zone piece.
That would put you out of your comfort zone, which is like, call the person who's going to make everything that I want possible. And we don't do that one thing. We go and we write the newsletter. We go and we look at our email. We call somebody else who's a buddy, who's part of our business. But we don't do that one thing, because that would put us out of our comfort zone. And it's when we even think about putting ourselves out of our comfort zone that all of a sudden we start to procrastinate.
And the reason is because maybe that getting out of our comfort zone looks like something a little scary or dangerous. Maybe we had someone in our past that was very authoritarian and perfectionism and said, you're not doing it right. You've got to do it perfect, or, you're always late, or some of these different things that we're told and we take in when we're younger. And so our brain is saying, no, you have to stay safe. So I'm going to try and keep you safe, keep you in your comfort zone. Whereas your body wants to fulfill your dreams, right? And so that's why we talk to the body and say, body, let's figure out where this issue is. And we'll go straight. We use the meridians, and we'll go straight into those meridians and find out, oh, is this fear? Is this big fear about success or failure, making too much money, or even the opposite of having that scarcity that maybe your family experienced when you were young, all these different, or maybe it was dangerous for you to be visible. And now we can get a little crazy, but sometimes not crazy, but woo-woo maybe for your audience. But sometimes even things that have happened in lives past this life can have a huge effect on our own ability to be visible and to be seen and heard in the world.
Okay, so that makes a lot of sense to me. Past lives, maybe a little bit on the side. The idea that we would have things that would trigger us that were either in our subconscious or were an energetic pull from somebody. If you're listening to this and this sounds interesting to you, you have a free workshop that you do around this where people can actually see you do this. It's coming up this Friday, the 11th. We're releasing this on Monday, which should be the 7th. If you guys are interested, we're going to put a link down below. It's completely free to attend. What are they going to see at this workshop? Like, how are they going to experience this?
Yeah, so we call it the Core Talk Rapid Relief Healing Session. And we give you a kind of a description of what we're doing. So we talk about Core Talk a little bit, how it would apply to you using it in your life. And then we do a demo so that you can really see it. And we usually do like a one-on-one demo, then we'll do a group healing also. So what's important to understand when we're working is to start to get that awareness of, oh, that's the stuff. And as we're talking with people and they're kind of identifying some of the issues that might be part of the experiences that they've had from the past that are affecting them now, you start to get that feeling of, I can see how that would be affecting me now. And in that group setting, we actually start to be able to move some of the energy and create more flow. And what we find is that our bodies are actually trying to tell us something when we have a lack of flow or when we feel stuck. So that stuckness, it's on purpose. It's our body saying, hey, here's the red light on the dashboard flashing when you go to do that thing, saying there's something that we need to look at. And it really is a golden opportunity when you have that situation.
Can you give me an example of, you don't have to use a name. I don't want to break anyone's privacy, but can you give me an example of somebody that you've helped break through one of these things?
Yeah, I mean, what's fun is that every time that we do this work, there's a number of people who we're not even working on directly. And then they'll come, after we've done the 5 or 10 minutes of energetic healing, very specifically, they'll say things like, wow, I have this pain in my shoulder. And as you were working on that the way that their father had told them that they'd never be anything, that pain just went away. So this is like every time that we do stuff, we get off these calls and we're like, how does this work so well? How is it that just listening to the body and then taking these very simple energetic actions to create more flow changes people's lives so much?
But we can also out Greg a little bit here.
Okay.
So if you ask, specificity is something we really love in our business because we get to talk to different organs of the body and how they relate with the different emotions. And so like with anger, this is Greg's go-to emotion, right? And so he gets frustrated sometimes. And I think a lot of people can relate to being frustrated, and frustration is really anger. And so what frustration will do is, you'll get that, you want to, and then all of a sudden you want to throw the computer out the window, or you want to just go, he wouldn't kick the dog, but it's that kind of a feeling that you're like, I want to, do something. And I'm like, oh, well, why don't, you're angry at the tech, or we're angry at a mistake that was made, and you're a perfectionist, so you don't want to make mistakes and then it gets you off. If you get frustrated, then you don't keep going with what you're doing. And then the next day you get frustrated and it builds on and you never get done what you want to get done. And so then I say, oh, honey, why don't you clear your liver meridian? Because the liver meridian is where all the frustration gets stuck in your body. And so he'll clear his liver meridian and maybe clear these psychic manipulations we were talking about earlier these cords or these shrouds from other people, clear the liver meridian, and all of a sudden he's like, what are you doing?
Well, it's like I can go from being very kind of like, why, and then I literally run my liver meridian down to my toes. I come back up. As I'm coming up, I get the little giggle and I'm ready to go. So I've learned that this is my go-to emotion. And then that liver meridian is really, the one that fixes that. And it has probably made us hundreds of thousands of dollars being able to
Seriously.
run that liver meridian, because I go from, I have 5 incredible partners that I need to call today, and something's happening. The link that I need to give them isn't working. So I'm just going to wait. To I run the liver meridian, and I'm like, I can explain to them that I can get them the link tomorrow. I'll be able to have the conversations. They're going to connect all the dots today, and we're going to move forward.
So first off, thank you for being somewhat vulnerable and like going into that. I think everyone can probably identify times that they felt frustrated and it has frozen them and stopped them from moving forward. The question that I have is, well, it's twofold. The first one is, do you notice that you are frustrated and do you run it, or do you have to have Antonia kind of nicely say, hey, maybe like, do you have a code word like pineapple or I don't know, kick the dog, that gets you to realize that maybe you need to run that? And have you realized it yourself? Because I think a lot of people see frustration as, well, I'm just going to naturally be frustrated because things aren't going to work out. There are always problems, right? Entrepreneurs solve problems. That's like definition.
And it's only when you get stuck that that's an issue, right? But you're right, that awareness of being stuck or having the frustration stick you so that you're all of a sudden, no, oh, I got to go eat something, or I got to go out and take a walk, and then procrastinating away. And I think you're getting good. We're both getting good at realizing when we're stuck and like, oh, okay, let me just do some core talk or just run our meridians, and then we'll be like, yes, that's it.
And as a entrepreneur, it's really important to give yourself reminders. So when I dealt with this original issue back years ago, I made a little sticky and it said, my creativity flows with ease and grace. My creativity flows with ease and grace. So I have that sticky, and it's by the printer. So I go into that room, and when I see that and I'm not flowing with ease and grace, then I know, I should run my liver meridian. And because the liver meridian is all about creativity.
Right. And if your anger is stuck and you're always frustrated, then your creativity doesn't come up anymore. You're not flowing. You're not able to come up with those creative solutions you're talking about.
And when Antonia gets sick of me being grumpy, and then she'll say, hey, maybe you should run your liver meridian. But I do actually, I am so connected with the success part of doing it that now I always make the choice. I think I'll be successful instead of grumpy.
Well, that's a good choice, because I can tell you, if I saw a Post-it note, I'm big on Post-it notes. I have Post-it notes everywhere. If I see a Post-it note that says something like that and I'm pretty angry and frustrated, sometimes I have the tendency, just sometimes, to grab it and crumple it up, or light it on fire, or I don't know, do a couple different things to it. I think the key here is having a trusted third party that can help bring those out and help heal it in a way that is not confrontational, right? We've all had partners. How long have you guys been married?
We've been married for 40 years. We've been together for almost 46 years now.
I mean, it takes a lot to be with a trusted partner. I know women that I've dated that can, like, I've done a lot of personal work where they can tell me like, hey, maybe we need to, just go for a walk, get a cup of coffee. Because I tend to, we solve problems all the time. So I go into frustration. I'll butt my head against it a little bit. I'll usually calm down, and that's when the problem solves, right? Like, push against it really hard and then go do something else, and a
Right.
solution comes up, but having somebody that can help me move through those is what's really beneficial. I want to talk a little bit about the 3-day event you guys have, because that's actually what you do. You have the workshop that you do where people can see it, because not everybody has 3 days to go to an event. So you have the workshop, and then you have the 3-day event where you go kind of deep. Can we just talk through the 3-day event for a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's called the Visionary Healer. And it's all about being able to get that awareness of what is really running the show right now. Because knowing where your actions are coming from and why you're doing what you're doing is gold. Once you get to where you can see how your experience in the moment is affecting you, and then you get a little bit of that resource of why it's doing that, then the vision starts to be in the realm of this is happening for me instead of to me. And that's so important to be able to get that nice grounded feeling of I'm going to be able to deal with this. I am going to deal with how I feel. I'm going to heal it. And that's going to give me this even deeper foundation and core ability to be resilient.
Because, and one of the things we do in the event is, showing the research that shows that emotions are driving most of our decision making. And so as soon as you can clue into the fact that you're making decisions based on how you feel and what emotions are driving you, a lot of times subconsciously, then it's much easier to have the realization of, oh, what am I feeling? Where is that coming from? And that's what we lead them through. But really, it's about envisioning what path forward is exactly right for you and part of why you're not getting there. Now, we do a lot of different events, and one in the fall is all about goals and planning and things like that, and how to heal to move forward faster. This one is about looking at your relationships with the people that you're partnering with at work or in your primary relationships, and how you are in those relationships, and it's really about kind of where does the power lie? Where does your decision making in that relationship lie? Are you making decisions that are right for you and your journey in work and life and business? Or are you ceding energy and power to someone else and letting them make your decisions for you? Because that, again, the decision making is all about how you're moving forward. And if you're not making the right decisions for yourself, then you may not be going on the path that is exactly right for you in life, relationships, business, health, everything. So part of the deep dive that we do in this unique Visionary Healer event is looking at those psychic manipulations and really the energetic exchange that happens within people in relationship, and how that energetic exchange, when you meet someone and you're like, oh my God, they're a kindred spirit, or oh my God, I want to, whatever with this person, or I want to turn and run,
Or
right?
I can't say anything. This person is like,
This is scary. We have these first impressions about people, and those are so important. And if people follow through in a relationship that, biggest worst case is that kind of abusive, and it can go, that has a huge range as well. So that's all about ceding power, but it also can be so subtle about whether that person is listening or talks over you or makes all the decisions. In business as well, looking at your partners and seeing what that relation, do they suck the energy out of you? Do you leave feeling tired or energized? So that's what we show people, those kind of energetic exchanges, and have them look at the partnerships in their life and business and see where that is, and then help alleviate get everybody else's energy out of our own body so that we only have our own energy in our bodies. And that's the goal, get everybody else's energy out.
Okay, so the 3-day event, if I understand it correctly, is the right person to come to it is somebody who has a really good idea of what they want to do, but keeps bumping up against walls and roadblocks that stop them from getting there. And it's because of other people's energy. So if you're listening to this and you feel like sometimes you get stuck, maybe you have conversations with people from your past. I know I've definitely had some of those. Greg and Antonia actually helped me work through them, where you would hear somebody's voice tell you you can't do that, or that's the wrong thing to do. Or maybe it's something that's not even related, but you keep having a flashback to that and it stops you from reaching your goals. The 3-day event is the way to go. If you want a short 1-hour workshop, you can go to the workshop, which will be on Friday. And you guys do the workshops rolling every month as well, correct?
Yep.
So if you're listening to this past the 11th, you can definitely go to that link. You'll find out when the next workshop and 3-day event is. Greg and Antonia, I want to say thanks for coming on and sharing. You guys are always amazing. And I know that your events are unlike any other events out there. You actually work with the people in the events. You move a lot of energy. You get people really turned on and really focused on what they're doing. And you help clear out a lot of the blocks. It's awesome to see you guys at work.
Thank you so much, Steve. It is so great to see you. And thank you for having us on this podcast. We really appreciate you and your audience.
Yeah.
No problem. My pleasure. To everybody else, click in the link down below if you're interested in learning more, and we will see you next time here on Grow Your Impact, Income, and Influence from the Stage. Have an awesome day, guys.